Hurry up, Marklin. I need my coaches. About time.
Thankfully, no one was hurt, but Marklin's frame, side rod, and undercarriage were badly dented. Soon, Sir Topham had arrived and inspected the damage. This is quite bad. Don't worry, Marklin. I'll be sending you to the works immediately. Meanwhile, another shunter will come and do your work while you're gone. Meanwhile...
Nothing bad ever happened to me. Brakes, driver! Brakes!
Once again, no one was hurt.
Ow, my frames!
Well, everyone except for Gordon. Once again, Sir Topham Hatt came to inspect the damage. What is up with these accidents today? First Marklin, and now you, Gordon. I'll be sending you to the works as well. You need major repairs. In the meantime, James will take over the express.
Yes, sir.
Now, who's going to be the temporary station pilot at Knapford? Aha! I know just the engine. So the Fat Controller went to Wellsworth and found Ginty shunting in the yard. Ah, good morning, Ginty. Good morning, sir. What brings you to Wellsworth? I have a very important job for you. You see, Marklin had a bit of an accident earlier today and will be out of service for at least 2 months. So I want you to be the Knapford station pilot until he gets back. Gladly, sir. But who will look after Wellsworth while I'm gone? I'll have either Bill or Ben be the station pilot until you get back. I'm sure the Claypits could spare one of them. I don't think that's the best idea, sir. What do you mean, Ginty? Well, what if they pull one of their idiotic pranks again? Don't worry. I'll have the station master keep a close eye on them. Thank you, sir. Now run along, Ginty. There's work that needs to be done. When Ginty got to Knapford, he was astonished. Trucks and coaches piled up the sidings, and there was barely any room. Wow, this is a lot bigger than Wellsworth. Well, time to get this yard sorted. Ginty got to work straight away. He helped arrange trucks and coaches for the bigger engines to take out on large journeys across the main line. He also arranged smaller trains that needed to go down the branch line. And when smaller engines arrived with their trains, they helped Ginty shun in the yard so Ginty didn't get too stressed. So far, Ginty hadn't had any trouble at all, and he was very proud of himself. Later, as Ginty was filling up on coal, James came bustling into the station, and he looked very annoyed.
Hurry up, Ginty. I need my coaches now.
All right, James, chill out.
Finally, now to be ready to take my coaches when I get back, little Ginty.
Ginty glared at James as he left with the express. Ginty and James barely got along with each other due to James's boastful attitude. But he just sighed and went back to work. A few hours later, Ginty had just finished arranging a fuel train for Molly. He was about to arrange a large goods train for Murdoch when he heard a familiar whistle. Oh no, not him. Unfortunately for Ginty, James had returned with the express.
Ginty, my coaches!
Ugh, fine. Soon, Ginty was done for the day. Since the sheds at Wellsworth were quite a distance from Knapford, Ginty slept at Knapford sheds with Eagle and Murdoch. So Ginty, how was your first day? It was good, I guess. The trains ran to time and there were barely any delays. I actually enjoyed it there for a few hours. That was, until James arrived. James? You mean my arrogant and snobbish brother? Yes. Since Gordon's out of service for 8 months having an overhaul, James has been put on express duties. And ever since he showed up at the station this afternoon, he's constantly demanding his coaches from me. And it's interfering with my other work. I should have known this would happen. Here's my advice. Take no notice of him. Well, he's taking the most important train on the railway. It's hard to ignore him. I understand that. What I'm trying to say is, just focus on your work and not just the express. Besides, I heard you did a fantastic job today. Thanks, Eagle. No problem. Now we should get some sleep. Night. Night. And Ginty fell happily asleep. The next morning, Ginty was once again shunting the express for James. James was extremely impatient.
Ginty, where are my coaches?
They're right here, James! Gosh, can you not be a pompous jerk for once in your life? Soon, the coaches were coupled up, and James steamed angrily out of the station. And once James was out of sight, Ginty went back to shunting. Unfortunately for Ginty, things would only get worse. Every time James got a chance, he would order Ginty to fetch or take away his coaches, even if that meant interfering with his other work. And since there were late-night expresses, James kept waking Ginty up in the middle of the night. The lack of sleep and constantly being pushed around wore the little 3F out. Because of this, the yard became a complete mess, with trucks and coaches being completely disorganized. He wanted to tell the Fat Controller about it, but James kept threatening him, so he couldn't. Ginty desperately wanted to pay James back. Thankfully, one day, he got his chance.
Ginty, where am I? Oh my god! Ginty, are you okay? It looks like you haven't slept in weeks.
It's because I haven't, Emily. Ever since Gorn got taken out of service to be repaired, and James got put on express duties, I've been working non-stop with very little rest. I only get like 2 hours of sleep per night maximum. It also doesn't help that James keeps interfering with my work to tell me to go get his coaches, and is the one waking me up every night.
I should have known it was that pompous red engine. Tell you what, I'll arrange my train so you can get some well-earned rest. And I'll tell Sir Tom and Pat about James for you.
Thank you so much, Emily.
Just glad to help a friend out. You should go get some rest now. Sir?
Yes, Emily?
I need to talk to you about James.
All right, Emily. What's going on with him? Thank you for telling me this, Emily. I will deal with him straight away. You should be heading out with your train now. God, once I get my hands on him, he's gonna wish he never came to this railway!
Ginty!
James!
Oh no.
James the Red Engine! What's this I hear about you threatening Ginty?
Well, you see, sir,
I don't want to hear any of your pathetic excuses! Because of your actions, Ginty's barely gotten any sleep. It was lucky that Emily decided to shunt for him. As punishment, you're going to be the pilot for the next 10 weeks! And on top of that, I am hereby banning you from the Express!
But, sir...
No but! Or you'll be spending the next 2 years working at the waste dump! Do I make myself clear?
Yes, sir.
Now get out of my sight! And that's exactly what James did. Since Gordon was still under overhaul, Henry had to take the Express, and he did a much better job than James. Soon, Markland returned from the works. Since James was in disgrace, both Markland and Ginty took over the local trains. Ginty enjoyed getting to see the rest of the island, but he really wanted to go back to shunting. A few months later, Gordon finally returned from the works, looking better than ever, and was back on express duties once again. But what about James? After his 10 weeks shunting in the yard, James was demoted to indefinite goods work, and he absolutely hated it. When Ginty finally returned to Wellsworth, he was surprised to see that the yard was neat and tidy. However, what Ginty didn't know was that Bill and Ben actually trashed the place when he was gone. But Edward managed to get them to behave with a little tactic of his. Only then did the twins behave. But anyways, Ginty was glad to be back at Wellsworth, and he wouldn't want to be anywhere else.